Hello, I am Joel Bloom at New Jersey Institute of Technology. We pride ourselves on being part of the Newark community and its advancements in technology, the economy, and the growth of the city. That's why we are very proud to partner with the Caucus Educational Corporation to produce Newark at the Crossroads right here on the NJIT campus. We hope you enjoy this special series.
Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by New Jersey Institute of Technology, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, Barnabas Health, Life is Better Healthy, TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, and by PSC&G, committed to improving New Jersey's economy and strengthening its communities. Promotional support provided by NJ Biz, All Business, All New Jersey, and by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. It's my honor, my pleasure to welcome you to NJIT's Jim Wise Theater. This is a series we're calling Newark at a Crossroads, and the guy you're about to see on camera knows what it means to talk about Newark at a Crossroads. He is Armando Fontoura, the sheriff, the great county of Essex, who's seen a lot in the city, huh?
I have. I happened to be walking the beat when the riots broke out in 1967. I was a rookie cop, walking the beat on Market Street between Penn Station and the courthouse.
What was it like, Armando?
It was an experience that we weren't prepared for, didn't expect. We should have expected it. We should have been prepared for it, but we were not. As a police department, we were just in total disarray. And it broke your heart. It broke your heart because you saw the city that you loved, the city that you grew up in, the city that you were raised in, and just go up in flames, you know. And you knew it was going to be a difficult thing for it to recover from that.
5 days?
It actually was principally 3 days. You know, the fourth and the fifth were lighting up a little bit. The first 3 days were very, very hectic and very violent.
A lot of people were killed.
26 people died, including a police officer and a firefighter.
You know, Armando saw that. Again, Armando is elected in his position overwhelmingly again and again as a sheriff in this county, but he also deals with law enforcement issues at the grassroots level and understands crime on that level, understands drugs and gang violence, and understands the city. And also, Armando, while he comes from, he knows from Portugal, the other piece of it is the ironbound section of the city, which is a lot of folks from Portugal and Brazil and other places. But I got to ask you this. Do you believe the city, on some level, never recovered from the 1967 riots? Never really, truly recovered?
Excuse me, I believe that to be the case. I don't think we fully recovered yet. I think that we survived. We survived. And now we're starting to revive ourselves. You know, before you can revive, you have to survive. We were able to accomplish that. And I think that the ironbound section, my neighborhood,
were you separated?
Well, you're not separated, but we had a lot to do with that because, as you know, the thing that broke my heart the most is that within 6 months of the riots, the middle class, the white flight began to take place.
Particularly in my neighborhood. By the way, I was a kid, 8 or 9, growing up there. It was everybody in my neighborhood, not everyone, my family stayed. A lot of them in my neighborhood in the north ward of Newark, where we moved up 280, right?
Cool.
Down the Jersey Shore, gone, we're out of here. What did that do?
First neighborhood was Weequahic.
Weequahic.
Within 6 months, Weequahic was, if people couldn't sell their home, I saw places boarded up, beautiful homes just boarded up, and they, you know, all the farms in Livingston and the Caldwells and up there began to develop, you know. And then after Weequahic, North Ward, then eventually the West Ward, where the Irish enclave was.
What happens when it happened, Armando?
Well, what happens is that, you know, it changes. We went from a city to close to 400,000, well over 300,000 after the riots. Now we're down to 285. So it just tells you that.
And who left? People with means?
People with means, middle class, upper middle class first, middle class next. And then, of course, the factories began to leave, also closed for different reasons, so that kept other folks from coming back in if they wanted to. But the one area that did not leave was my neighborhood. I'm very proud of it.
People say the ironbound, it's iron all around. It's what I call the ironbound, right? Past Penn Station. What's really going on there, though?
I think what goes on is it's a neighborhood that's always been able to thrive. I think it's a neighborhood that changed every 20 years or so. You know, the Germans were here, then the Lithuanians, then the Poles, then the Italians and the Irish, then the Portuguese, right? And now it's changing again. We have new neighbors, the Brazilians, Ecuadorians, and some Mexicans are starting to come in. So the evolution is beginning again. But the fact of the matter that after the riots, for the Ironbound, nobody left.
Why?
Stayed back, and I think it helped the city survive.
Why didn't they leave?
Because I think they took pride in their home. They had a lot invested in businesses down there, as you know, a lot of restaurants. People were in construction businesses, and they just stayed. They don't want to just give up their home. You know, they came from Europe with the mentality this is a better place for us to work at, and they just stuck together, stuck with one another, look out for each other. And you take a look down here, it's still a great, great neighborhood.
It's interesting. Every time I've been down there with you, and other than the fact that people all seem to know you and recognize you, it's not about you, but it's about community and a sense of neighborhood and closeness that I used to experience in my old neighborhood as a kid growing up in the North Ward. It was very Italian. It's not about being Italian or Portuguese, it's just neighborhood. Is that one of the only neighborhoods left?
I think it's the most solid neighborhood that we have. I think there's other neighborhoods that are developed now, the Society Hill, the new housing there.
Pockets of neighborhoods.
Yeah, pockets that are coming back, you know, the colleges, of course, the neighborhoods are within themselves. I think that's, so these are all good signs. These are good signs, but the fact is that, like with crime, for example.
Yeah, talk about it.
Crime's biggest enemy is neighborhoods, people that look out for each other, people that are, there's a cohesiveness there. You know, something is awry, they look, so criminals don't feel comfortable working in a place where there are people always out there, there are people walking around, there are people still shopping till, you know, late in the evening, going to restaurants. They don't feel comfortable in that kind of an environment. So as a result, it's a safer neighborhood.
But Armando, we talk about Newark at a crossroads, and you know the suburban community because you run and serve countywide and 22 municipalities in this county, and obviously 556 throughout the state. And a lot of them look at Newark and they're like, okay, the Devils play there, NJIT, that's great, but do I want to go there? They're obsessed by the crime issue. Put in perspective what's real in terms of crime and what the perception is.
I think the perception of crime, people have a tendency to look at crime to the homicide rate. You know, police officers and communities have little to do with homicide. The homicides are kids that are targeting each other. If they decide that they take somebody out, they're going to take somebody out.
Is that gang-related mostly?
Most of us gang-related, most of us is drug-related. Okay, they target one another, have little respect for life. We have young people out here, fortunately not all young people, but it doesn't take many. You know, if you have a couple of hundred kids that are involved in this kind of a thing, the thousands of other kids who want to go to school and do well and take care of their families just get overwhelmed by those. But the fact is that a better indicator is robberies, street robberies. Street robberies are down significantly, even though we have less police officers than we did in the past.
Yes.
You know, which is a problem. You know, we need more bodies.
Several hundred less.
We need more bodies. About 300 or 400 down.
Right.
We laid off 165, but we didn't replace through attrition. So we lost an awful lot of police officers. We need more police officers. That's number one. But the fact is that, you know, Newark is as safe as any city in America.
You believe that?
I do believe that.
As safe as Chicago, Philadelphia, New York City, Detroit. You believe that?
Well, you threw out Chicago. I mean, come on, man. You know, Chicago, our friend Gary
McCarthy was here and now is over there. Go ahead.
We did the show together here. Remember,
That's right.
Gary's overwhelmed in Chicago. I mean, there's great. Well, New York is a different thing altogether.
You think there's anything unique about Newark crime?
No, absolutely not. Newark crime is the same as any other city in America. You know, we may have a little bit more of it in some areas, less in other areas, but it's the same all over the city.
You believe in sitting down with the gangs? Because
Well,
Baraka, and by the way, we'll have the mayor on, Mayor Baraka, looking forward to having him at our NJPAC series when we sit down with him. He believes in sitting down with them.
Well, I think there's nothing wrong with sitting down with anybody. The question is, can you get them to the table? You know, if you can get them to the table to negotiate, fine. And how sincere are they going to be? And who really are you going to get? You're going to get the real leaders, or just somebody who says that, yeah, I'm in a gang. You know, that's the. Anytime you can discuss, it's like compare it to the Gaza Strip. You know, can you get these people to the table and talk? You know, if we could do that, I'm all for it.
Final question before we let you out of here. You've been a part of the city for so long; it's in your blood. You know. How optimistic are you about the future of this city? Not just what's going on downtown, but for the people outside of this community, in the South Ward, Central Ward, West Ward, people that are really struggling, not benefiting from all the great things downtown the way they would want to. How optimistic are you?
I'm optimistic. You know, I don't want to say I'm very, very optimistic, but I'm optimistic because as a police officer, as a cop, you have to be an optimist. Because if you're not, you could be cynical, but you have to be an optimist. And I'm an optimist when it comes to the city of Newark. I'm anxiously awaiting for that day when we can, you know, hopefully in my lifetime and your lifetime, we'll be able to see the glory of the city. When we had 9 theaters downtown when I was growing up, the neighborhood had its own theater. You know, we had things to do, restaurants, people walking around. I want to be able to see that again after hours, not just on Ferry Street, but I want to see it on Broad Street. I want to see it on Bloomfield Avenue. I want to see it on Springfield Avenue. That's what I'm hoping to see in my lifetime, and I'm very optimistic that I'm going to get to see that.
You love Newark.
Love the city.
Armando, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy. Stay
Thank
right
you very
there.
much.
A one-on-one from NJIT. We'll be right back right after this. Stay with us. Thanks, Sheriff.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to be joined by Levelle Burr-Alexander, Interim Executive Director, the Center for Pre-College Programs at NJIT. Good to see you.
Likewise, likewise. Thank you.
Now, describe your program, because my understanding is it focuses on increasing access to scientific and technological fields among traditionally underrepresented populations. Break that down.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, underrepresented populations are populations who traditionally don't major in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, for example, some people call that racial minorities, like African American, Latino. Others might call that females in the STEM careers.
Underrepresented.
Exactly, underrepresented.
What happens when they're underrepresented and they're not in the field? Meaning the field is less diverse, number one.
Absolutely.
But also we don't get the benefit of what they can contribute, right?
Absolutely. And then there ends up being a shortage of
Absolutely.
qualified people in general going into STEM.
What does the center do for them?
So we start at the beginning of post 4th grade, and we go all the way up through high school. And so some of our programs are on Saturdays during the academic year, and some of our programs are in the summer, Monday, all week long.
But what do you actually do for them? I mean, it's interesting because we're doing this program on the campus of NJIT, and the whole idea is that NJIT is one of the several institutions of higher education,
Yes.
very committed to the future of the city and part of the fabric of the city. But what exactly do you do for these, their elementary and secondary school children? What do you do for them that increases the odds that they'll go into science and technology? What do you do for them?
Well, one of the things that we do is providing them with, first of all, the culture of a college campus.
How do you do that?
By bringing the students here. And
Right here in Newark?
Absolutely, right here in Newark. And some students can live in Newark and not necessarily come on the campus of NJIT prior to participating in actual pre-college program. So this is a way for young people to see a college experience, one, for them to provide an opportunity so that they get a chance to, I call it, experience the fun and the love and the passion that I know I feel for science in a way that reinforces what students get in the classroom
Give me an
during
example,
their
break
schools.
it down. Do they actually have a class? Is it in a class or a lab
so
or what?
students, all of the above. Students will come and, to give you an example, we have a program called Metabotics that was actually Metabotics.
Okay.
Kind of like Medi and then robotics, Metabotics. So the Metabotics program was actually built on a program that we had for teacher professional development, and then we created a summer program in Metabotics. So in that case, they're taking concepts of engineering design, the field of medicine, and merging the technology. So students are getting a chance to do mock medical procedures using the Lego NXT Mindstorms kits, but actually applying science and technology and mathematics in a way so students are doing computer programming, they're doing engineering design, they're learning about the kind of science behind some diseases, for example. So that's one example. Another example is the students are actually creating for themselves in one of this program is called the ExxonMobil Bernard Harris Summer Science Camp. It's a mouthful.
Clearly sponsored by ExxonMobil.
And the Bernard Harris Foundation.
Got it.
And so students come and they explore aeronautical and space engineering. So students are actually getting a chance, one of the design challenges in the program, so they're learning about engineering design. They might do a reverse engineering activity where they're understanding, okay, we have a yo-yo, and actually in space, years ago, they took some toys in space and looked at the performance of toys in space. Okay, well, let's look at the performance of toys here on Earth and do reverse engineering, for example, of a yo-yo. How many young people have probably seen a yo-yo, but then actually taking it apart and understanding what's the science behind it? Why do yo-yos work? How are they made? And then look at the performance of yo-yo on Earth and compare it to a video of how it performed in space.
How old are these kids?
They're, well, in that program, they're middle school students.
So let me ask you this, bring it back to Newark. Some of these kids are Newark kids.
Absolutely. Some of the students are Newark students. We have programs that actually target Newark students. We have 2 federal TRIO programs. One is called Upper Bound, and that's for high school students. And the other program is called Talent Search, which is not searching their talents in terms of the arts, but searching for their academic talents. And these federal TRIO programs are working with, by federal regulations, first generation to go to college, and low income as defined by the federal government, which is 150% poverty, or disabled. Those are the 3 eligibility. And so we work with, so those 2 programs focus on students in the city of Newark.
Before I let you add, I got to ask you this. What do you think this could potentially do for these young people in the city of Newark in particular?
I call it life-changing. Life-changing from a lot of different vantage points. Life-changing in terms of seeing the potential that's right in your backyard. To give you an example, I'm a native New Jerseyan. I can't remember going to the Statue of Liberty, but I pass by it. You see it all the time. I used to work at Liberty Science Center, and you see it right across the river. So sometimes, and I heard in one of the other segments that you talked about, this is right in your backyard, and how many young people will not either come to the campus of NJIT or any of the other universities in the area. So this is a very concrete way for students in the city of Newark to come on campus, to meet role models. We have college students who are working with the students and the instructors. We have some people who are doing the instructing who are actual, college people, adjuncts.
Could change. Sorry for interrupting, but it could change their lives.
Absolutely.
See what's possible.
Exactly. See what's possible. Reinforce what you've gotten in school, and kind of open your horizons. How many students have met someone in the STEM fields in particular?
Very few.
Example. Absolutely.
And that happens. Let me tell you, a lot of us wind up doing what we're doing professionally because we met someone who we admired, respected, and taught us something, and we said, hey, wait a minute.
Exactly.
I could. And so Levelle Burr-Alexander from the Center for Pre-College Programs at NJIT, you and your colleagues are changing lives, particularly for young people in Newark. I want to thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We
You're
appreciate
quite
it.
welcome.
Great
You're
job.
quite welcome. Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back from the campus of NJIT right after this. That was great.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
We're pleased to be joined by Carlos Perez, President and CEO of the New Jersey Charter Schools Association, joining us on Newark at a Crossroads here on the campus of NJIT. How you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. Put charter schools in the city of Newark in perspective. How many charter schools are there?
Sure, there are 21 charter schools in the city of Newark, serving about 10,000 students in the city as well.
Okay, so what is a charter school for those who don't know that?
Absolutely. A charter school is first and foremost, it's a public school that is open to all students who wish to attend. There's no tuition, there's no entrance requirements. As long as you live in the district, you can attend. If there's more seats than are available, there's a lottery. And as a result of that lottery, we actually have another 10,000 students on wait lists here in Newark.
Yep, and full disclosure, and you know where I'm going here. is that my dad founded a charter school called the Robert Treat Academy. Now, Robert Treat, do you know who Robert Treat was?
I'm failing on this one.
He's
I'll let you tell the whole
founder
story.
of the great city of Newark.
Absolutely.
The Robert Treat Academy, and also another charter school is opening in the central ward of the city of Newark. They're very much involved in, connected to the name of Jackie Robinson, right? So I've been around charter schools for a while, but I realize very few people, they go, oh, that's a private. No, it's not, right?
Correct.
A lot of misconceptions.
A lot of misconceptions, first and foremost, right, that it is a public school. Some of the other things that people don't know is the fact that they have been phenomenal here in Newark. Newark has one of the strongest charter school sectors in the country. If you look at a city, the Newark charter school community is one of the strongest in the country.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because you have educators who are absolutely committed to the city, committed to the community, and they express it through the work that they're doing in charter schools.
But you know what's interesting is that there are 10,000 kids in charter schools. How many on a waiting list?
Another 10,000, almost 1 to 1.
So the demand is there.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we have this Newark School Superintendent Cammie Anderson joining us on Newark at a Crossroads here on the campus of NJIT. She'll be talking about the whole big picture. And so you can't say the public schools because charter schools are public schools. But they are different from the more traditional public school.
Correct.
How so?
They're different in that the decisions made about the charter school, the academic program, what's going to be happening in the classroom are made at the schoolhouse. They're not made at the district level. So how we're going to go about teaching math, how we're going to do our community involvement curriculum, how long our school day is, how we develop and train our teachers and give them all the professional development, those sort of important decisions which directly affect teaching and learning are made at the school level, not at the district level. And because of that, you often see more creativity, more flexibility on charter schools, and schools are often able to then address the needs specific to those families in their school.
But isn't there a risk, though, Carlos, in a city like Newark that not too long ago had like 48, 50,000 kids in the public schools across the board, right? We don't have that number now. Charter schools started when?
15 years ago.
Okay, so before charter schools, all those kids were in the traditional public schools. Isn't there a risk, devil's advocate, that if charter schools are very successful and the demand becomes greater, that then you wind up cherry picking, if you will, or that the kids who have parents who are more motivated to get them into charter schools, those kids will go to charter schools. And the kids that don't have that situation wind up in the traditional public schools. And then you got these two different situations. You've got traditional public schools and charter schools, and it's really not the same school system in the city of Newark.
Well, I think what we have an opportunity is create schools to meet that demand. If parents are demanding a high-quality education, then it's incumbent upon all of the adults in Newark and in the state to make sure that every single family has got a fantastic school. If it's a district school, if it's a charter school, I think we can all work and make sure that all schools are great. If that means creating more charter schools.
Right now it's 20%. 20% of the Newark public school kids are in charter schools.
Correct.
If it became 35, is that a problem?
If these 35 schools are making sure that kids are prepared for college and life, I don't think that's a problem.
You really don't think that if the number increased to 30, 35, 40% of public schools in Newark, if they became charter schools, they'd be like, hey, wait a minute, that's too many.
I think it'll be a political problem. It won't be a problem for kids who
What's
want
the
a great
difference
education.
between a political? I'm sorry for interrupting. What's the difference between a political problem in your mind in the city of Newark versus a problem for kids? What's the difference?
I think the difference is whose priority do you have? Do you have the priority of those who have adult interests or organizational interests, or making sure that every single child's got a great seat and is have an opportunity for a great education? Until every single child knows and every parent knows that their child is receiving a top-notch education, I don't think anyone can stop working towards creating great seats for students.
You know, because you are involved in charter schools throughout this state, you have a unique sense of how Newark fits into the bigger picture. Do you believe there's something about the Newark educational establishment / community / environment that is so unique or special?
Here's where it's not unique, in that those who are invested in preserving their adult interests or established interests, or even a nice way to say it is, folks aren't used to change. And anywhere you have any sort of new idea, change comes along a little bit difficult. And I think that there's no real difference there. And I think, as far, you mentioned the community of Newark. We have a lot of our charter schools in Newark which were started by community-based organizations. Robert Treat Academy, one of those.
And North Star Academy and some other really fabulous charter schools.
Some flags. The Mary P. Thomas Charter School was started by a coalition of African-American churches in town. That's community-driven. So, you talk about, what are the community interests? There's various community interests.
Yeah.
Some of those community interests are interested in starting and running great schools for kids.
But if the mayor has said on certain occasions, and he'll clarify for himself, but there are some who believe that he is not all that in favor of the expansion of charter schools in the city of Newark. If he's saying that, and he was elected by a considerable margin, does that send a message about the future of charter schools in this city?
I think the message that I see with charter schools is 10,000 families, another 10,000 families want in. There is a silent majority of families who are absolutely demanding a high quality education. I think a lot of the families who send their kids to charter schools voted for the mayor as well.
Voted for Ross Barr.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that people vote for in mayor, not just a single issue. So I don't know why people vote, or I guess I know why people, I don't know why anyone votes for the individual issue. But I think, there's those 10,000 families are stating that this is a great education for their children. And I think the mayor understands that there's a lot of families in there and who are demanding schools and demanding high quality education. Charter schools have we're going to have a place in the city for a while. Carlos Perez, President and Chief Executive Officer of the New Jersey Charter Schools Association. I want to thank you for joining us here on the campus of NJIT. Thank you.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by New Jersey Institute of Technology, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, Barnabas Health, TD Bank, Josh S. Weston, the Fidelco Group, and by PSE&G. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
At Barnabas Health, nothing is more important than your health. So we've assembled an enormous array of resources to heal those in need of care. Doctors, nurses, amazing technology. Yet for all we do to heal the sick, we do as much to strengthen the healthy, with innovative programs designed in the hope that you won't need our extraordinary medical care in the first place. Barnabas Health. Life is better healthy.